everybody, welcome to Jess Plays Exile Election. It was pointed out to me that apparently I didn't finish Yuuri and Aasha, I guess. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and finish those now. And then depending on how long that takes, maybe we'll do a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Trying not to show how pleased I was that we were all walking home together, Michimune then asked. I asked Michimune. Is this really okay? Don't you have a big match coming up? Even though Michimune was only a first year, he was already a regular starter on the volleyball team. And they had decided that he was going to participate in the big qualifying match over the summer. Because of that, he was always stuck at school, practicing till late. And even though we had always gone home together every day since we were in elementary school, for several months at a time, I would have had to make the long trek back home by myself. Don't worry about it, it's not that big of a deal. And I mean, besides, it doesn't matter if I skip a couple practices. I mean, you say that, but I was very happy to hear Michimune say that. However, it didn't change the fact that Michimune's time was still being stolen away. I felt a mixture of both happiness and also a little bit of, and also I felt a little bit bad. Even though he tried to play it off as no big deal, the way that he said it did make it sound a little bit like it stung. Anyway, forget about that. Hey, Miori-san. Michimune said, looking over his shoulder at my sister. What kind of guy's your stalker? Oh, sorry, I actually don't have any idea what kind of person they are. Well, I guess, what are you gonna do? You've never seen him. It had been going on for the past several weeks. My sister said that she felt like someone was watching her all the time. It might have just been her imagination. She said it might have just been her imagination while smiling, but I could tell that it was affecting her deeply. If she truly thought it was just a trick of her own mind, then my sister never would have agreed to all of what we were doing now. But that's the type of person Nei-chan was. The type who would always try and wash away with a smile the fact that she was really looking for help. I'm really sorry if it turns out it was just my imagination. No way. There's no problem if it turns out that that's the case. That's actually much better. But if it's not just your imagination, then I'm gonna do everything I can to stay with you. Michimune looked at my sister, a fire in his eyes. It was hard to see Michimune like that. For anyone's sake. No, not just for anyone. I knew that Michimune was fired up and doing his absolute best for the person he liked. And this is what the future would be for my very precious friend. I don't just think it's her imagination. I mean, at the very least, I've seen them. It was last night. What? You saw him? Since I hadn't phrased it the best way, I had confused Michimune and now he was panicking, so I continued explaining. No, I mean, I didn't see their face. It's just, I saw someone out in the yard last night. I mean, I think they probably had a camera? It was pretty dark. It was pretty dark at night, and I could see the light reflecting off the lens. At that point, my sister had gotten out of the bath and was cooling off sitting out on the porch. When I got up to go head into the bath myself, my sister pointed out into our yard and said, "Hey, do you see something shiny over there?" She was pointing at the woods that bordered the backside of the mountain, where it was extremely dark, and it was tough to tell. However, I definitely could see that something was shining over there. After that, even though there was no wind, the bushes began to rustle. What? He came all the way to your house? That's dangerous, isn't it? Did you call the police? Well, I mean, the cop down at the station listened to our story, but... Along with our parents, he listened to the story, but in the end, we just didn't have any proof. They went with us the following day to where we had seen the figure. But all we found were bent branches and broken sticks, as if a tanuki or some other kind of small animal had been running around. I mean, there wasn't any proof, just mine and Nason's word. But they did say that sometimes people would come down from the mountain to take a look around. Yeah, but even so, it would be nice if they did their job just a little bit better, don't you think, Yuuri? Even though I agreed with Michimune's opinion, I didn't really have any other recourse. I mean, we only have one police station in the entire village. And we don't have it, and they just don't have enough staff. What are you gonna do? About 10 years ago, according to the map, we had changed over officially from a village to a town. But in truth, nothing really changed. We were just some podunk town out in the middle of nowhere. And even though we had grown up with Michimune as our neighbor, the houses were far away. We're several kilometers apart from each other. Obviously, we had a town cop, but since we were such a sleepy little town where nothing really happened, there wasn't much of a sense of urgency to his work. He wasn't a bad guy. It was just tough to believe that he was putting us all into his job. Alright, well if that's the case, then I'll have to make sure I'm with you guys. Sorry, Michimune-kun. No, it's fine. I mean... This is way more important than my volleyball practice. I mean, we're getting some breaks from practice anyway, so, I mean, yeah, I don't want to make it come off like I'm some sort of, like, martyr or anything. Michimune answered. Trying to continue on with his usual brightness. This really was difficult for me. I did feel a mixture of both happiness and sadness. Didn't you say yourself that you were cutting earlier, Michimune? I said, deciding to tease him a little bit in the end. Hey, come on, that was just how I phrased, alright, yeah, I guess you got me. My sister, listening to Michimune react, smiled slightly. I received a short message from my sister. It was only 1 week after we had started going home together, with the 3 of us. And I started thinking something strange. And then, I got that message from Nason. The shrine. I wondered if maybe she had sent it in a panic, since she hadn't even bothered to change over the characters into kanji. Which you do by hitting enter. Or I guess on a phone. Well, I don't know when this is taking place. I kind of was assuming everyone was using those Garake flip phones, where you'd T9 everything in, and then you'd have to, like, hit enter, to scroll through all the kanji combinations that would come up. Nowadays, you just, like, pick them from a pull-down menu, but, you know. Or maybe something even worse had happened. We shouldn't have split up to do things. Nason had gone to return a book to the library. Michimune had gone to borrow a ball from school. And at the very least, I should have gone with her. We could have met up with Michimune together later. Or I could have met up with Michimune later and we could have gone to go meet Nason together. I can't believe that we decided to do something so stupid. No, this isn't the time to dwell on that. Running, I sent a quick panicked message to Michimune. My head was full of regrets and overthinking. And I didn't even realize that I didn't tell him where I was headed until I got his response. Replying back with just the name of the location, I headed to the shrine. Since I had been on my way to school, the shrine was only a handful of minutes away. I had walked by here several times, but I had gotten here much faster than I thought I would. Nason! I yelled as loud as I could, but I got no response. The shrine itself was sitting on top of a mountain, at the top of a long set of stairs. Even though I could barely breathe at this point from all the running, I hurried up them. Sitting near the top of the long staircase, my sister was sitting. Nason, are you okay? When I spoke to her, what I received back wasn't exactly an answer, just a short phrase. I'm sorry, Yuuri. Michimune's gonna be here in a second. What happened? I might have killed someone. My sister confessed, completely serious. wanted to drink something cold, so I went back to the house, and when I got back there, I saw this woman. She was following behind me.
A woman? Even though I had caught my breath, my heart was still thundering in my chest.
I tried running all the way up here. She grabbed my arm, and I wanted to... Or at least she seemed like she was going to.
Nason stared down the staircase. Did she fall?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check. Can you wait here?
Yuuri, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was just an accident. I did my best to answer calmly, but even as I said it, I could hear a little bit of a tremor in my voice. Michimune's coming too, okay? So wait here and don't move until he gets here. Without waiting for an answer, I headed back to where I had started from. I hadn't realized it when I was climbing up the stairs, but now that I looked, I could see that there was blood splattered all over the stone steps. Following the blood splatter, I walked down, and about halfway down, I found a small puddle. Puddle of blood. And then, that was pulled off to the side. Trying to keep my wits about me, I looked all around. On either side of the stairs, there was nothing but trees. Trees, no decorations or anything else of the sort. And there, I saw something move. Excuse me, can you hear me? Are you hurt? There was no reply. But right before the shadow, on the dirt, I could see bloodstains. I'm gonna come over there. If you can hear me, please answer. Do you need an ambulance? I hadn't noticed it until now, but the cicadas were screaming in my ears. Did they have a weapon? Did they have a weapon? Had Nason said anything about the culprit? Based on what I could remember, she hadn't said anything of the sort. And though that didn't completely erase my fear, it did mean that it was enough to keep me moving forward. Please say something! I pushed back the branches of shorter trees and split the grass as I continued. And then I saw her. A woman collapsed. One of her legs was bent at an unnatural angle. Her hair was stuck to her face, and I couldn't see her expression. Something strange was going on with one of her hands. The way that her hands and feet moved, or rather the way her right hand and her left foot moved, it seemed as if she was trying to crawl, and it made her look like a bug. It was an accident, right? Even though I knew she wouldn't react to what I had to say, I started to feel a little bit calmer. Even though I understood that she wouldn't answer the question, I had to know. I had to say it, for Nasan's sake. Despite that, the woman continued trying to crawl, as if she hadn't even heard what I said. Hello? Can you hear me? I got ever so slightly closer. I thought that I would probably need to call an ambulance sooner rather than later. But if this really was the stalker, then I couldn't just leave this alone. There was also the chance that we would lose any proof that we had. Can you look this way? I asked the woman a little bit more firmly, even though she wasn't responding. Finally, I got a reaction from her. She'd rolled herself halfway over, and her face was looking in my direction. She had long black hair that reached down to her waist, and it was plastered all over her face. I could see that blood was pouring all over her features. Through the small gaps in her hair, I could see blood-red eyes looking in my direction. They didn't seem to be looking at anything in particular, but just seeing those eyes terrified me. And she kept moving her lips. Was she trying to say something? I leaned in and listened as hard as I could to try and figure out what she was saying. Kill them all! She kept saying it over and over, using the same rhythm. And she kept saying it without even caring if anyone seemed to hear. Everyone? Who are you talking about? Kill, I'll kill them all! Or I guess kill them all. Do you mean me and my sister? Michimune? There was no reason for me to expect a response. But despite that, suddenly she stopped her chanting and abruptly cut it off. Our eyes met. Michimune? Her voice was bell-like, as if it were coming from a young girl. Just hearing it made goosebumps pop up across my skin and me break out into a cold sweat, feeling a chill roll down my spine. With this, suddenly the tenor of her voice completely changed. She now sounded like an old, shriveled woman. All of you, don't get in my way. I'll be together with that one. What are you saying? Out of my way, everyone, you're in my way! Kill. I have to kill everyone in my way. The woman said over and over, as if she'd gone mad. That kid Michimune. And then, once again, the bell-like sound of her returned to her voice. What's your name? Behind me, I picked up a large rock. It seemed as though it were the type that you would use to pound mochi into paste. And I didn't feel any pain. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. It was just that the woman's voice repeating the same thing over and over was driving me crazy. You, that kid, Michimune. You, that kid, Michimune. You, that kid, Michimune. I grabbed the rock in both hands, splattered completely with blood. The woman was clearly insane. If we had just taken her to the hospital like this, what would have happened? Would they have given her medication or some sort of treatment? I don't really know. But I can't imagine that she would have had to answer for her crime. I couldn't deal with the fact that within her insane ramblings she had said Michimune's name. If someone who was saying things like this and causing Michimune to be in danger, I just couldn't abide by that. And with that thought in my mind, my body seemed to move on its own. I returned to the road that I had used to arrive there, and sat down on the steps. My body felt so tired that it was as if I'd never get up again. It wasn't just my body, but my soul, too. After some time, Michimune arrived as well, and I didn't even have the energy to answer him. I killed her. That was it. That was the only thing I could think of. After that, I talked to Michimune and Ne-san. I don't know why that thing happened. But Michimune said that he would bury her, and that's what happened. Then after that, our relationship changed ever so slightly. On the surface, we continued as if nothing had happened. We definitely didn't talk about what happened that day, and we had all silently agreed. Even though we probably should have stopped worrying about it after enough time had passed, we just couldn't. We had to look after each other. Make sure that none of us would break. It was as if it brought us all closer together. The fact that it made me so happy? What did that say about me and the terrible person I was? The fact that my sister felt responsible, the fact that we had dragged Michimune into this, it was all my responsibility. Or it was all my fault. And despite that, I liked the way things were going now with us. The seasons continued on, and it turned to fall, and the three of us all went out to a festival together. Michimune took a fortune and then decided that he was going to get a multicolored ice cream to give to Ne-chan. But he got lost, And in the end, Michimune ended up giving it to me instead of my sister. Oh, lip cream, sorry. This is why I shouldn't do this when I'm really tired. Michimune won lipstick in a raffle. Michimune won lipstick in a raffle, and he wanted to give it to my sister, but ended up not being able to. In the end, he ended up giving it to me instead. When I got home that night, when I was getting ready to get into the bath, I took out the lip cream and and used it to and put it on in front of the mirror. It was a bright pink. It was a bright pink and made my lips stand out brilliantly. And for that one moment, I stared at my own red cheeks in the mirror. At that moment, I realized too late that I was in love. But I decided I had to suppress that feeling. After all, Michimune was bound to us from now on, and I didn't want to add any more burdens to his heart. So, time marched on, and soon it became winter, and my love completely failed. It was a quiet rejection, one that no one knew about. Not even my sister and Michimune himself knew. It was just a feeling that I myself pushed down further and further and tried to kill. Alright, Aasha. Nice to meet you. My name is Hakushu. Aasha-chan and beep. Or you're Aasha-chan and beep. Well, it looks like we're living next to each other, so I hope we get along. The first time that I saw Hakushu-sama, I knew that it was fate. It was the second time I had ever felt a love like this in my life. His chestnut brown hair sparkling in the light of the sun. Light of the sun. And his thin white fingers. Thin white fingers running through that hair. Every time I watched his luscious lips move, I was reminded of how much in love I was. And I realized at that moment that the horrible event that had happened in the past, my sad past and the tragic things that had happened, at the same time they were also part of this fate that brought Hakushu-sama and I together. And it seemed that even in a godless world like ours, sometimes miracles did happen. Wow, you do sure look just like beep! Forget about that, Hakushu-sama. Would you like to go on a walk? I'm not very used to the area here, and I'd like to know more about it. And then this is a thing that Kasha says. Sorry. Sorry, I was actually already asked first, so... Okay. I wonder if you mind if we meet up later. Well, if we're going to be spending time here in the room, then why don't I go ahead and make us some tea? Do you know any Russian tea? Beep. Wow, you're pretty good at Japanese, huh? It makes me very happy that you say that. I'm still not very good. Really? But I don't feel like you're saying anything that's wrong at all. This reminded me of my coworker the other day. I was saying something and she's just like, I love your word choice. And I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, I don't know, you're using these very natural phrases that are correct. And I was like, wow, imagine that. She was giving me shit today, so I taught her how to do like the Rihanna point from the GIF, and then oh my god, my coworkers have been doing that all day today. Hey, I just had a great idea. Would you mind becoming my tutor? And using that as our first chance, that was how Hakushu-sama and I began to spend our time together. They were sparkling days, a beautiful future filled with love. But it was also, unfortunately, an opportunity for the later tragedy to occur. And once again, it became the reason that my own beautiful personal world was completely marred. There's only one thing in this world that I couldn't abide by. It was the horrible demon I could see in the mirror. I guess see as if it were in a mirror. There was no reason for her to exist, no purpose in her existence. Once again, she was trying to steal away the person that meant so much to me, and the future that we had assured ourselves. I would not let the same thing happen again. That's right. I swore to the non-existent gods. And then, the next thing that happened could be called a tragedy. When Hakushu-sama lost his beloved parents, I was there by his side, and all I could think was that it was still fate. Fate was not something that you simply waited for you to come to you passively, but was at times things you had to decide and control for yourself. Hakushu-sama's trembling thin shoulders, his hair falling in his eyes like wild grass. They were the kinds of things that kind of beauty that you would only see if you were in love. It's alright. I'm right here beside you, Hakushu-sama. Sorry. Thanks. Tragedy is not a thing that comes in solo bursts. Justice is not something that comes in solo bursts, and like love, has many sides. Losing the first love of my life was the first tragedy I had ever experienced. Please, allow me to be by your side forever, Hakusama. For the love of the one I had lost, I would go anywhere. And, at this time, he should have been solely focused on me. And in order to make that happen, I understood exactly what I needed to do. Sorry. I mean, thanks. Fate is kind. At least, it is to those who work hard to get what they want. However, despite all of this, there still was one fly in the ointment that was mine and Hakusama's relationship. Only one. A single drop of blood in a sea of pure white. One that I just could not erase. And in the end, that drop of blood was what tipped Hakusama off to the truth of the situation. And that's how something happened that never should have happened to put the future that I was building with Hakusama in jeopardy. Hakusama was allowed to learn the truth. He found out about the spoils that my hard work had wrought. In other words, he had found out that I was the one that stole his precious parents from him. Even though it was something I figured he would probably learn eventually, it still happened a little bit earlier than I would have liked. I wanted it to happen after our love had deepened, after I had already engraved myself onto his heart. Yes, even though I had thought about it and tried to avoid it, there was no taking it back now that he knew the truth. But when I thought about it, that wasn't actually such a bad thing. In truth, knowing what had happened, he brought us closer together. It made sure that he was always by my side. His lukewarm, murderous intent, the insanity he could barely hide, all of it just showed how deeply involved and emotionally invested he was in me. It just became part of my daily life, part of the duty of living from day to day. Looking back on my younger past self and feeling ashamed of how I acted back then, I felt an even deeper love for Hakusama. However, there was that one thing. There was only one thing that I was discontent with, and that was that Hakusama's eyes did not always fall on me, but sometimes to my mirror reflection. I like that both twins have, like, their own separate metaphors for, like, their co-twin. So, like, Kasha calls Aasha her shadow, and Aasha calls Kasha her mirror reflection. And I just think that's actually kind of a cute detail. That, they're both, like, really resentful of each other. And, like, I mean, I've never been a twin, so, I mean, I don't know if you'd be resentful of your twin, or that's, like, just the natural stage you go through. But I imagine it is. But, I do think it's kind of cute that they both have completely different, like, approaches to, like, their mutual discomfort with each other. And, it kind of, like, is reflected in the fact that they have, like, wildly, vastly different aesthetics. So I think that's kind of funny. I thought to myself that someday I wanted the only person to be in Hakusama's eyes to be me. And once again, thanks to the god whose existence I didn't believe in, things took a turn in my favor. And that was the moment that drew Hakusama and I closer together. Why would you do something like this? Hearing Hakusama plead like this left a pleasant feeling ringing in my heart. Ah, finally, he understood me. This was the admirable result of all of my hard work in the name of love. I did all of it because I love you, Hakusama. I don't understand. What the hell is up with you? It's impossible for human beings to understand everything about the world. But love is something that transcends understanding. Oh my god, are you gonna kill me too? And, once again, it seemed as though I also couldn't understand some of the things that went through Hakusama's head. Of course not. There'd be no point to. Our love and our future both required that we were both present. However, the one thing that overcame our mutual lack of understanding was love itself. Hakusama took some time, mumbling to himself, but eventually a dry smile crossed his face, and he told me this. Oh, I see. Oh, is that how it is? So, you're serious, huh? Alright, I think I kinda get it. So... Hakusama mumbled, with a strained voice. I want you to kill the who survives all love. Ah, and here was yet another moment where Hakusama and I drew ever closer. Hakusama's eyes were hidden by his silky hair. And so I couldn't see them. However, I could feel the way that they were sparkling behind his luscious locks. And I felt it, the moment when Hakusama's love and mine intersected. After that, I lost one of my own eyes, but I didn't regret it. In order to continue gazing upon Hakusama, I would sustain any number of sacrifices. I would do what I needed to do in order to gain Hakusama's love. And it was at that moment that I realized that we had entered a new phase together. Alright, so that's everybody. Whew. Let's yameru this etsudan. Whoa, are you just gonna go ahead and give me the answer right here? I am. The answer is Jess is gonna make a save. Because holy shit. Okay. Wait, are you serious? Are you really okay to answer without even seeing the final card? Oh, the last one is me. Yeah, I know. I did that on purpose. Oh, so you admit to the fact that you've had a hand in this the entire time? Hey, come on, I'm just playing a part. Doesn't matter. I already know the ending to my own story. But are you really sure? I mean, you could get the final card after finishing out a final election. Oh my god, enough with this! I already told you I'm not doing another election. Hey, come on, no matter what you say, as long as it doesn't break any of the rules, you can't stop me. Besides, don't we want to go somewhere else and get a little bit of a change of venue? It doesn't matter where we do this. It's just, we don't need to waste any time. Let's just finish it here. Well, if you're fine with going anywhere, then you should be fine with going to where I tell you to go. I do not want to waste any time. Let's hurry up and finish this. Hey, no way, no way. Right now, I know you want to do what's convenient for you, but you've got to listen to my opinion sometimes too, alright? Oh my god, why do you not shut up about where we do this? You're the one who's making a big fuss about it. Or could it be that there's a reason you don't want to move? No, there's no reason. Oh, could it be that you don't want to run into Ichika while we're on our way somewhere else? I already told you that's not the case.
Right. That's how it is. Alright, I get it.
そういうことなら、いちかちゃんが今何をしてるか教えてあげるよ。
Well, if that's the case, then I guess I can tell you what Ichika-chan's up to right now. She saw through everything, huh?
その必要はない。
I don't need you to.
じゃあ、その場所に着くまでは、いちかちゃんに絶対に会わないって保証もしてあげるよ。それならいいでしょ？
Alright. Well, how about I guarantee that you're not going to run into Ichika-chan on our way to the next place? Is that okay?
その場所っていうのは
And where is this place?
選挙部屋だよ。
It's the election room.
どうしてあの部屋にこだわるんだ？
And why do you insist on that room?
あの部屋で9人がいなくなったのを覚えてる？
Hey, do you remember how there were 9 people that died there?
覚えてるに決まってるだろ。
Obviously.
そうだったね。全部君がやったんだもんね。
Oh, right, of course, because you're the one who killed them.
なんていうか、処理が楽なんだよ。あの部屋は。
Anyway, basically what I mean is, it's easier to take care of stuff in that room.
処理
Take care of?
人を消すのに都合がいい部屋だってこと。
I'm saying it's a room that makes it really easy to rub people out of existence.
まさか死体の処理のことか？
Wait a minute, are you talking about taking care of bodies?
違うって。彼らは追放されただけだよ。まあ、君の場合はそうなるかもしれないけど。
No, I'm talking about the fact that I'm going to exile people. Although I guess maybe that might not be the case in your case.
で、どうするの？
So, what are you gonna do?
分かった。好きにしろ。
Fine, whatever. Do whatever you want.
それでは1名様、ご案内。
All right then. Well, good sir, if you will follow me this way. And just like this, I followed behind Alice all the way to the election room. I didn't really think about much on our way there. There was the record of all 11 people that had been killed. Or, of all 11 people... Blah, 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 blah. There was the record of all 11 murderers. All the memories of every single person, bar none. The only problem was the one remaining person's memories. Nori's cards were the only ones that weren't actually there, and in the end... Okay. And in the end, I was going to have to just make a guess about her. If you wanted to put it another way, as long as I could overcome that hurdle, then the 3 of us were in the clear to keep living. I didn't really care much about the truth behind the murders the 9 of them had committed. There were things like unfortunate accidents and misunderstandings. There were people who had intended to kill someone and people who had just kind of done it by accident. But there wasn't anybody whose situation really moved my heart. I hated them. They were people I had wanted revenge on. So, who cares? If I really thought about it, now that my revenge was over, I didn't feel anything toward them.
didn't feel any pity or any regret. There was absolutely no emotion whatsoever.
さあ着いたよ。中に入ろうか。
Alright, we're here. Wanna head inside?
ああ
Sure.
さて、それじゃあ始めようと思うけど、ルールのおさらいをしておく？
Alright. Well, I know you want to get started, but why don't we hear the rules first? Alright, I'm gonna stop here for this week, and we will go ahead and take care of this next week. And hopefully wrap things up. I don't know, I still think I'm gonna have to fucking face each in a fucking election. Where she's gonna be like, hey, asshole, you said you weren't gonna go take the quiz without me, and then here you are, taking the fucking quiz without me. So, yeah, Ichika gonna be pissed, and I'm gonna have to deal with that. So, alright everybody, thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys again next week. Woo! We're so close to the end!